served on the pastor's security detail, got a subpoena ordering Rich's internet service provider to reveal his identity. So what we're basically talking about is that there's a member of the church who is a member of the police department as well.
Right.
And there's this blogger who's anonymously criticizing the pastor, and he abused his authority and basically did state work on behalf of the church. That clearly, it's sort of like, I'm investigating something, not because I feel that there's a crime and I have some sort of probable cause that I can provide with the police department.
In order to remove someone's anonymity when they were reporting about wrongs at the church.
He's basically using police resources, state resources, to investigate somebody that the church wants to look into for criticizing the pastor. He's a member of this congregation.
There's 3 or 4 shades of First Amendment issues here. There's the doing the work of a church on the state's dime. There's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
There is reasonable expectation of privacy, which is why a lot of these.
Yeah, it isn't like he's committing a crime. They wanted to investigate him because they wanted to toss him out of the church.
Yeah.
Not because they thought he was committing some sort of a crime or abusing, anybody. I mean, it's weird. He was basically criticizing a pastor, and they wanted to out him so that they could.
Well, they
did.
I don't want to say all's well that ends well, because this didn't end well. Work done for the church on the state's dime, but
well, there's consequences here. It says that Rich claimed he chose to blog anonymously to draw attention to issues in the church rather than himself, and thought it would encourage more open discussion. In allowing the case to move forward, U.S. District Judge Marcia Morales Howard noted that the Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment protects anonymous speech. After he was exposed, Rich says the church obtained trespass warnings against him and began proceedings to revoke his church membership. Eventually, he and his wife left their church of more than 20 years to join another congregation. While the settlement does not admit wrongdoing by the Jacksonville Sheriff's or State Attorney's offices, Sheriff John Rutherford agreed to meet with Rich and his lawyers and the city's legal counsel to discuss ethical issues arising from the case. So basically, there was a $50,000 thing in there in the settlement. But it's amazing that this is that weird sort of sense of immunity to everyone else's rules, a special set of rights that a lot of religions seem to unknowingly sort of try to give themselves, that somebody's attacking this glorious thing, therefore I can essentially abuse my position with the state to go after somebody that I disagree with on theological basis. It's really absurd.
It's the bigger this is especially true in the bigger and the mega churches where it's like, I've got a flock of 50 or 60,000 people. I can run around violating laws with impunity, and it happens again and again and again. That's what got people like Peter Popoff. It wasn't the fact that they were quacks; it was the fact that they had a bunch of people under them doing things that weren't particularly legal, and that's really.
It's a weird sort of sense, like they somehow think that the criticism of the church is somehow comparable to them, or it's somehow less worse than them actually abusing this guy's privacy. Violating this guy's privacy, using state resources to basically try to root out church.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Speaking of kind of scary.
Our next story comes to us from the Sydney Morning Herald, and it's baby dies as family jump to escape devil. A baby was killed and several more people seriously injured when a family of 11 threw themselves from a third-floor flat to flee a man they mistook for the devil, French investigators said. The bizarre tragedy came to light on Saturday when firefighters were called to the village of La Bière, on the outskirts of Paris, following reports that several people had jumped from a balcony in a welfare housing block. Among the injured, they found an entirely naked man of African origin with a knife wound in his hand, and 2 children, a baby and a 2-year-old girl. The baby died later after receiving hospital treatment in Paris. The assistant prosecutor from Versailles, Odile Favre, told reporters the incident began in the early hours when a group of 13 people were watching television in an apartment and the naked man heard the baby cry. The man got up to prepare a bottle for the baby when his wife, seeing him, screamed, "It's the devil, it's the devil," Favre explained.
I really don't know what we can say about that.
That is a weird one.
That is weird on almost every level.
Yeah, in the confusion following this apparent case of mistaken identity,
there's egg on my face.
The naked man's sister-in-law stabbed him in the hand, and he was ejected through the front door of the flat. When he attempted to get back in, panic erupted. And at that point, panic erupted because the only way to escape the devil was to leap out a window.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you should be afraid of him. Clearly the stabbing worked.
If the stabbing worked and he's bleeding,
As Jesse Ventura once said, if it believes we can kill it. And
What was that on conspiracy theory or?
that was in Predator.
Oh, it was Predator. Okay, so Alex Jones not involved.
No.
Okay.
But I do believe Alex Jones bleeds.
Probably. Screams a lot.
But I wonder though, maybe this is a question of outing him as the devil. This is sort of something like John Carpenter's a thing, or is it stabbing him in the hand, some sort of method of determining if he's the devil?
Oh, right. If the blood goes in the water and it floats, he's a witch or a devil.
Yeah, if he weighs the same as a duck, I think.
Oh, if he weighs, okay, the blood weighs the same as a duck.
Oh,
Hey, good call.
Randy from California. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Very well.
Happy Halloween.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm actually one of the guys who hides out during holidays. I don't have a family, so I don't I don't really want to participate much.
Yeah.
So what have you got for us today?
Oh, well, a couple things. First of all, I want to thank you guys for being on the air.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Man, I really thought I was the only voice out there that was supporting atheism. And I live right in the middle of a Bible Belt area, you know.
Well,
so,
like Eastern California?
No, Central Valley.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
And you know, it's a bunch of farmers here, and it's, like I say, it's a Bible Belt area. But it's stunning how these people can be so dependent on their faith, and yet anything that has to do, if I mention anything at all about religion of any kind, they just have a fit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a computer repair shop, and I have a whiteboard up that I put, you know, different things up there. Usually it's something computer related that people have been asking me a lot. And one day I put up there, science requires you to question everything. Religion depends on belief without question. And you wouldn't believe the flack I got for that.
Oh, I can imagine. I know that it sounds a lot like something that one of our hosts, Scott, has said on occasion, that science has answers that are questions that may never be answered, and religion has answers that may never be questioned.
Right.
And it really